r/rules horror. Posted by you/inevitable_cookie_74. Don't trust those things in your home, they are not your family. You have one new message. Hello? Dahlia? It's me, Mr. Porter, I'm the head of the neighborhood watch, remember? I can't believe your parents left you home alone for a business trip after I specifically warned them not to. Here in Birdsdale we have rules for a reason. Rule number 12 in the Citizen Guide is, never leave your children home alone, you most likely won't see them again if you do so. Your parents said they'd be gone for 2 weeks? Oh dear Lord in heaven help us all. It's almost like your parents didn't read the darn guide in the first place. Okay, Dahlia. You need to listen and listen well, your night is about to be hell on earth, and it'll end very badly if you do not follow these rules. Your parents do not realize that their decision not to read the rules could possibly get you killed. I just hope to God that you listen to this message. There are only a few rules, so listen carefully. 1. When you hear your doorbell ring 4 times you have to open the door. You will be met with a group of anomalous creatures pretending to be your family. They'll be dressed as them and slightly sound like them, but they will look wrong. They could have more than 2 limbs, or they could be bluish purple, or they could have 6 eyes or something, just wrong. You have to pretend you know who they are, don't ask why, it's for your safety, okay? 2. Don't let the creatures unless you are asked to do so, you most likely will be asked to do so, but just to be safe nonetheless, when the creatures come inside, only let them sit in your living room. Do not let them in other areas of your home, keep them all in one area. Please just do it. 3. I would not recommend letting them cook anything in your home, they may try to drug you so they can take you away. Instead, insist to cook for them, or just give them snacks from your pantry of something. If they bring their own dishes, again do not eat them. 4. Do not hug these creatures or make any contact with them. Give them an excuse, say you're sick or something. Just give them a good reason not to hug or kiss you, okay? 5. If they start telling stories about the past and when you were a baby and whatnot, just agree and listen, no matter how wrong the story is. Don't show any signs of skepticism, not even a slanted brow. 6. When they leave, be sure to say goodbye and smile and wave as they drive off. You have to. Just trust me, okay? 7. They will continue to come over to visit until your real parents return, just continue to follow these rules until your parents return, okay? Do not at all break any of these rules. You do not want to know what these creatures have in store for you if you give them the chance, and you don't want to know either. Please follow these rules. I will speak to your parents once they return home and tell them not to do this again. Have a nice day, Dahlia. I'm sorry you got thrown into this mess. r/limitless horror. Posted by you/inevitable_cookie_74. Ace Attorney, something lurking behind the door. It was 3 a.m. Phoenix Wright woke up to the sound of slight shuffling coming from his living room. At first he's skeptical about what he's just heard, he ignores it and tries to go back to sleep. Then he hears the sound of shuffling again, resulting in him getting out of bed to go into his living room and flicking on the light. Nothing, no one. Maybe he was just imagining things. Wright returned to his bedroom, groaning as he was angered from being awoken from his sleep. He gets back into his bed and drifts back into sweet slumber. When morning came, Phoenix went to his living room to retrieve his tie for his suit. He stops when he spots a black spot on the floor. Wright gets closer to the spot, poking it with a pencil. It smelled rancid, and it had a sticky texture. He wanted to stop to clean it up, but he didn't have time, he had to be to work soon. He decided to clean the mess when he returned home later. Later that day, when Phoenix returned home exhausted after a long day on the job, he found the black spot, gone. Weird, Phoenix didn't clean it, maybe it was Maya, she did say she was stopping by to grab a hair clip she left earlier, and she just hated seeing messes on the ground. He decided not to question it, and went to bed early. Later, that night, during a rainstorm, Phoenix once again awoke to the sound of shuffling, this time it was not as faint. He got up and listened at his bedroom door for the sounds of shuffling. There it was louder than before. So loud, that Phoenix felt in his gut that he was actually hearing something. The sounds that came afterward made Phoenix's skin crawl, a wet thud. Then another, and another, and another, it almost sounded like footsteps. Phoenix thought it was a burglar who'd broke in during the downpour, so he shouted to the intruder. "If you don't leave my home now, I'm going to call the police." There was silence. Then the wet steps returned, this time only louder. They grew in volume, signifying the distance between the intruder and his bedroom door. They must have been a mere foot apart from each other. Then, the steps came to a stop just inches of Phoenix's bedroom door. All Phoenix could hear was breathing, raspy breathing. Then nothing. Phoenix stood still and placed his ear against the door. Whatever was on the other end smelled rancid and rotten. Phoenix listened closely. He heard something faint, groaning, deep, wet, groaning. Almost as if the intruder was in agonizing pain of sorts. Phoenix listened in closer, bang. The intruder hit the door with such force that it sent Phoenix flying backwards onto the ground. The force of the impact knocked him out instantly. Phoenix woke up the next morning with a throbbing headache. He was surprised to see that his door was still intact after what happened last night. He entered his living room to see what had been stolen, only to find that everything was right where he had left it. Aside from a larger quantity of that black sludge, most of it in front of his bedroom door, everything appeared normal. Before leaving for work, Phoenix checked all windows and doors looking for a possible sign of a break-in. Nothing. Phoenix knew something was off, but he didn't have time to think about it. He instead quickly cleaned the ooze from the floor and left for work, making sure to lock every window and his front door before leaving. Maya was happy to see Phoenix. However, when he approached her, he seemed a bit more tired than usual. Maya also noticed the bruise on Phoenix's forehead. She decided to ask about the bruise, to which Phoenix made some plausible excuse about slipping in the shower. Maya, being none the wiser, bought the excuse and walked away. However, a small voice in her mind told her something was off. Phoenix breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't want to rope Maya into the mess that he was in. Phoenix's rival, Miles Edgeworth, also noticed Phoenix acting stranger than usual. He just didn't seem as peppy and confident as he usually was. Phoenix was a tired mess who could barely focus. Edgeworth wasn't a moron. He could see plain as day something was off. He couldn't help but ask Phoenix if everything was alright, even offering help if needed. Phoenix said everything was alright and thanked him for asking. Edgeworth didn't buy it. He even insisted Phoenix stay home the next day, to which Phoenix refused and walked away, leaving Edgeworth more worried than before. Later that day, Phoenix had to go home early as he was feeling very nauseous. This surprised his co-workers, as Phoenix being sick was a rare occurrence, a very rare occurrence. Maya and Edgeworth were now even more adamant that something was wrong. Edgeworth tried stopping Phoenix, demanding to know what the problem was for such a situation. Phoenix pushed past him and made his way out of the building quickly. Phoenix went home and went straight to the bathroom, closed the door, and started puking up black sludge from his mouth. He was in so much pain he didn't even have the strength to make it to his bedroom. He just curled up on the bathroom floor, hoping the pain would stop. Being too tired to do anything else, he passed out from exhaustion. Phoenix woke up in his bathroom to the same sound he heard the night prior, except this time, it was extremely loud. The wet footsteps that were going around his house, as well as the agonizing groans. The sounds were unbearable, as well as that rancid smell. However, he was too weak to do anything about it. He could barely move. Even when the footsteps reached the bathroom door and the banging started, Phoenix was too weak to move. At this point, he was powerless. The banging grew louder than ever and Phoenix couldn't bear the noise. He once again passed out, just as the door broke off of its hinges. The next day, Phoenix didn't show up to work. In fact, he didn't even call out. Maya was very concerned and wanted to know if he was alright. She called him over and over again. Edgeworth waited the entire day for Phoenix to show, praying that Phoenix was alright, and the day prior he was just stressed out. The next day was the same as the last. No Phoenix, no call out. The day after was the same as before. Almost as if Phoenix had disappeared entirely. Edgeworth and Maya were thinking the same thing. I need to see if he's alright. They both showed up to his home and Edgeworth knocked on the door, only for it to open easily, as if it was never closed in the first place. All the two saw upon entering was the entirety of the house's interior covered in black sludge. They both entered carefully so as to not slip and began searching the house for Phoenix. He wasn't in his bedroom, or kitchen, or living room. When they reached his bathroom, however, they heard raspy breathing, and with a slight push, opened the door slowly. To their horror, they found Phoenix, mutilated and withered on the bathroom floor. His suit was in tatters, his arms were bent out of place and so were his legs, his fingers were also broken, his face bruised and bloody. Every corner of the bathroom was covered with black ooze or blood, and poor Phoenix was as thin as a toothpick. As if he didn't eat in weeks. By some miracle, however, he was still breathing, he was still alive. Just unconscious. Medical services as well as the police were called instantly, and Phoenix was taken to the hospital, with the mystery of his injuries making the top headline of the local news. Everyone was left scratching their heads as to what could have caused such an incident like this. It took months for Phoenix to fully heal from his injuries, took a while for him to walk again, took a while for him to trust other people again, and it took a while for him to sleep again. He developed a habit of listening at his door for hours just in case something was outside of his room, wasting hours of sleep and causing him to be diagnosed with insomnia. Now, the only remnant of the incident being scars. However, he was never the same again. He was now always paranoid, he would rarely turn his lights off, as well as keep his doors locked and barricaded when he was asleep. If something even resembled that black ooze, by smell or appearance, Phoenix would vomit and leave the room or area. Phoenix moved to a new neighborhood, he still worked as a lawyer, and still saw Maya and Edgeworth on a daily basis, being more than grateful to them for saving his life. However, as life was now starting to become normal again, Phoenix couldn't help but feel as if the creature that attacked him was coming back to deal with its unfinished business. The worst part is that he never even saw the creature, so he doesn't know what, or who to expect.